Let's start.
Hello, sports fans.
Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by.
Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into the JP Peterson Show on this Loser Monday. Man, it really does feel like a Loser Monday. You know, all the good vibes for Bucs fans with the Brady era, I think have finally come crashing down in a homecoming that was not great. Are you surprised? Are you shocked? Are you mad? You shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. We've been telling you about this for quite some time, and we told you last week that this was not going to be a game. It was not going to be a game. We did guess the spread, and I guessed 10. It was 3.5. I'm like, easiest money in the history of the NFL. And I took as much as I could take. I hope you did too. It's a lot easier to watch that crap when you're getting paid at the end. I told you last week they were going to get out physicaled. Boy, did they get beat up. They're going to get out coached. Laughable. Outplayed? Of course. I don't mean to be disrespectful in any way, but we're just calling it like we see it. This is a team that is soft, mentally and physically. I think it's fractured, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. You know, from a talent standpoint, there's talent here, but it's not motivated at all. When Tom Brady said that this team's game day effort is embarrassing, well, you nailed that on the head. But the problem is Tom Brady has been embarrassing since the beginning of the season. And I know he's the sacred cow, and I know he is the greatest to ever do it, and there's no question about that. He is the GOAT. But this will be a season that everyone wants to forget for Tom Brady. And I don't give a rat's ass if they finish in first place and go to the playoffs and get beat by 50. And won't it be interesting to see the Cowboys come into Raymond James Stadium and beat them up the way the 49ers just did? And you'll say, didn't we beat them in the first game of the season? Yeah, you beat them pretty good. But that's back when this team had belief. That's back when this team had a fighting soul. That's back when this team actually had some togetherness and some chemistry. But this team is a fraud. It's a fraud. And I don't say that lightly. And I don't say it in a personal manner. I'm just talking about the way they play. It's a fraud. It's not a first-place team. It's not a playoff team. It's a terrible team. It's not even much of a team, to be quite honest. They don't play together. They don't play for one another. It seems like they've been fighting each other since game 2. And it's ugly. It's really, really ugly. And this calls for a complete rebuild. And we're going to get into all of it here as we go through today. And you want to join in, you can always hit us up at FanStreamJP on Twitter. You can always, when you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, you can comment there. We'll put your comments up as well. There's a ton of stuff to read from Twitter from last night. Fans were absolutely apoplectic. We're going to hear from Todd Bowles and from Tom Brady. And we're going to break it all down, see where it goes from here, and kind of analyze what went wrong this year. What the hell happened? Because I'm here to tell you, folks, this season is over. You might, you can't do it because it'd be too embarrassing, and he would never want that to happen. But Tom Brady doesn't even need to play much anymore. He's going to get killed behind this offensive line, and the way he's playing, it's terrible. It was sad to see that yesterday. So all the pomp and circumstance, and I'm watching it before the game and all week long, and I'm going, oh man, this is going to be embarrassing. This is going to be bad. And if you thought that this team was going to rally around their quarterback for his homecoming, did you see a team fighting hard for Tom Brady, the GOAT? I didn't see that at all. And again, Tom Brady is the best to ever do it. But there's issues here. There's no question about it. In my mind, there's no question about it. And with that, I'll say good morning to my partner here, Nick Geddes from Outsider.com. We are brought to you by Emerging Investigations and the Jeeves Law Group in our first hour. How are you, my friend?
Been better. I've been better. You know, I mean, I don't think anything's going to top the Steelers loss, the Panthers loss because of the opponent there. And this is, like I said, this is the best roster in the league, in my opinion, is the 49ers. Yeah. And you can see the gap between where the Bucs are and where the 49ers are.
Yeah, they flew over the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
It's about that.
Yeah,
wide.
It's about that. Probably a little bit further than that.
About that wide and that deep.
Probably, honestly, the distance from Santa Clara to Tampa, that's the gap. That's the gap. And to the point where a rookie quarterback making his first career start could look like Joe Montana. I mean, Tom Brady never played against Joe Montana, but he might as well played against him yesterday. Yeah. That's exactly what he looked like out there.
And I said last week, I saw this kid play, and he's going to be just fine. He'll tear the Bucs up. You watch.
It is unbelievable that you can go back to even the Monty Kiffin days. You can go back to from today and what we saw yesterday. This team consistently makes average Joes, guys you've never heard of, guys nicknamed Mr. Irrelevant, look like all pros. It's not even shocking anymore.
It's crazy.
It's every single team that this franchise has had. It's like that's why I keep telling you. I know you don't believe in a Bucs curse or anything, but sometimes I feel like it's still lingering around one Buck a little bit on days like yesterday. Because I know the 49ers are an all-class team. You said they were going to get blown out. I myself just couldn't see it happening. I thought you'd have a little bit of a better game plan against a rookie quarterback, but they got out-coached. They got outplayed, and as Todd Bowles says, they got their ass kicked.
Yeah.
They did on every single level yesterday.
There's no question about it. And, and I put this out on Twitter. Well, before we get to Brady, because I kind of want to go through this game, but I want you to kind of look at this season through the lens of, and again, I am not putting all the blame on Tom Brady. That's not what I'm doing at all, because this organization, this franchise has allowed Tom Brady to kind of take over. And in a lot of ways, that was great early on. He won the Super Bowl. He helped win the Super Bowl. Let's stop giving Tom all the credit, because I think that's something that really grates on the players. I think they're tired of that. I think they're tired of hearing about Tom Brady going home. I think they're tired of hearing about, it's everybody else's fault but Tom Brady. Tom's playing fine. He's not throwing picks. No, I think they're tired of hearing that. And when you look at this game through that lens of, everybody expected, this is his homecoming. This team is not going to let him down. They're going to play. And I'm like, you got no Tristan Wirfs. This offensive line now is just with two tackles that are among the worst in the league. Donovan Smith is just awful and has been the entire year. And the dislocated elbow was a huge part of that. But he's not playing like he did the last couple of years when he was protecting Tom Brady. No, he's not. And when you have two tackles that are that bad and you got an interior line that's not very good either, this line is bad. It's really bad.
Yeah.
And when you have a standstill quarterback who can't move at all, you got no chance in this league.
Yeah.
No chance.
And guess what? I'm putting a lot of blame on Donovan Smith today because I know it was one penalty, but momentum's a real thing in this game.
Oh, no.
It's a real thing.
No,
I'm going to go there real quick. Just hear me out.
Okay.
It's a real thing. This Bucs offense is starving for an explosive play. Yeah. Starving for it. And they finally get one to Mike Evans. And what happens? Holding, and I didn't need to hear anything else.
You knew what was coming.
I knew it was 76. And by the way, after the game, he didn't want to talk about the penalties. It's illegal for me to talk about the penalty, which no, it's not.
Illegal.
And then
the sheriff's going to come.
Yeah, they're going to arrest him for talking about the penalty.
You have the right to remain silent. You should have remained silent.
It was a horrible penalty, but I go back all the way to the Cleveland game. This is 3-4 games in a row now that he has had a penalty that has directly contributed to the Bucs having a big play wiped off the board. It almost cost them against the Rams game. It cost them against the Browns, and it cost them from making it a 7-7 game. And at least things are a little bit different. You feel good about yourself. You have your longest play of the season. Mike Evans hasn't scored in like 10 weeks, gets a touchdown. And just from that moment on, and I put a lot of it on him because I know he came out on Friday and I think he said he's dealing with a lot of personal issues. And listen, he didn't want to share it. You have to have a level of compassion there.
Absolutely.
But you have got to compartmentalize things for 3 hours because Tom Brady went through a divorce. He's still playing. Kate Otten lost his mother. He's still playing. We have no idea what Kate or Donovan Smith's going through, but you've got to be able to compartmentalize it on a Sunday for 3 hours, especially when you play that important of a role on this team. He's doing nothing for you right now.
Yeah. And the penalty itself, I watched the replay. He takes both of his hands and grabs the outside of the shoulder pads, like on an edge rush.
Yeah.
Where clearly the referee can see you. You're not in a pile where he's not, he can't see you. You're out in the open, and you literally grab not the insides, but the outsides of the shoulder pads. You have them gripped. Like, for those who are saying that's not holding, I'm like, that is the definition.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. How did he? There are sometimes the guys hold and they can get away with it. When they're holding up inside, they're not going to call that. When you're out holding them on the outside of the shoulder, that's like, dude, like you're just not even.
I thought coming into the season, we were talking about Donovan Smith's going to really have to help out Luke Gedeke / Nick Leverett.
Yeah.
No, Nick Leverett's helping him.
Yeah.
On every play, Nick Leverett is helping him.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be that way for a guy who's been in the league now 7 years.
But just, dramatically, offensively, when you have a line that is this bad and a quarterback that can't bootleg,
he's a statue.
They can't. You can't play in this league. You watch all the other games. Look at freaking Brock Purdy. He's new. He's certainly no Michael Vick.
Making Devin White miss. Yeah, JTS can't get near him.
But he's rolling out. You can do bootlegs with him. He can run when he has to for big plays and touchdowns. We get none of that with Tom Brady. You get nothing of that. But the trade-off is he's the greatest, most cerebral quarterback of all time because he can pick you apart. But if he doesn't have time to do so, and the receivers, and Chris Godwin's not getting open anymore. He cannot separate. He's lost the step, and that's a big step in the NFL. Mike Evans isn't running great route. Mike Evans is just checked out. He and Brady are pissed at each other. We saw it on the sideline. We saw it yesterday, and that to me was a big sign that these guys have had enough of the Brady stuff. And listen, and I'll go ahead and say it right here. And again, I am not putting this all on Brady. But hear me out here. Everything this team has done is about Tom Brady, and that's as it should be. When you get him, you got to surround him with everything you can to make him better. It's all about 12 when you get him. I get that. That's why you won a Super Bowl. You did it. But this year has been different from the very start. The retirement was a scheme to get to Miami. We know that now by the investigation into Miami tampering. He was actively talking with them last December. His teammates know this. How do you think they feel about that? Not great. And then we went through this whole 40-day deal, and it appears to everybody in that locker room that was not about retirement because he just played an MVP-type season. It was to get to Miami, to get away from you guys, by the way. Okay? And then, suddenly the coach is gone. And there's rumblings, was he nudged? Was he pushed? Whatever. Certainly, I think we can all agree that Brady had something to do with that. So how do you think these players feel about that? About their beloved Super Bowl coach? Probably not very good, but hey, it's Tom. It's Tom, right? It's Tom, right? And then, Tom's picking the running backs. We got to pay Leonard Fournette. We got to pay this guy. Okay, all right, good. You get who you want. We're all on board with that. But, it's just step by step by step. Now I got to take 11 days off. Did he do the Masked Singer? I don't know. They're promoting it on Fox. Maybe they're just using his name to get interest. That obviously could be. But if he turns out to be on the Masked Singer, and these guys already know that, and part of that was that, and then, the guys having to answer questions all the time about Brady's personal stuff, and he's not playing well. And let me read you this, which I found like almost unbelievable, to be quite honest. And this is from Mike Silver in the San Francisco Chronicle. And this is in a story about Brady possibly coming home to play for the 49ers. He said the level of responsibility that Brady imposes upon himself has always been massive. And this year, he's taxed to the max. One example, the night before each game, Brady runs a separate meeting with the Bucs skill players during which he goes over the game plan, makes tweaks to assignments and formations, and provides a revised blueprint. one which first-year head coach Todd Bowles, offense coordinator Byron Leftwich, and the rest of the staff are left to discover in real time once the game begins. Say what? Say what? What is that? Like, what is that? He's having a separate meeting with the players, and the coaches don't really know what the tweaks are until the game time? That sounds completely ridiculous to me. And this is from John Ledyard's. There's a lot of credible sources attached to this. It comes from the San Francisco Chronicle. And I'm like, what? That seems just bizarre to me. But then when I look at this offense, that's why I've always said everybody wants to bash Byron Leftwich. But and I'm not sitting here saying he's a great coordinator, but it kind of figures that's why he doesn't have any answers. That's why, because it's not even his offense. And you can't, if you're the quarterback, I'm sorry, in this league at this particular time, if you're wanting to run everything and do everything, maybe this is why this team is so unbalanced, because he wants to throw it on every single play because the running game is crap, and he figured, but it's never going to work that way. It's never going to work that way. And then you look at what at the time when everybody else had kind of blew it off, going to Bob Kraft's birthday party and not flying home and not being with your team on the Saturday morning and meeting the team in Pittsburgh, playing a depleted Steelers team which at that time had no secondary whatsoever, and laying a complete freaking egg. And then the next week they go and lose to a Carolina Panthers team and score 3 points. To me, this looks like a fractured team that doesn't believe in their quarterback, that's pissed off at their quarterback, that's pissed off at their coaching staff. I said it. Remember after that Pittsburgh game, I said, this is dysfunction junction. This team is dysfunctional. You can't, as a head coach, allow Tom Brady to do it. And I understand he's the GOAT. And the only reason you give him 11 days is because he's the GOAT. And the only reason you let him go do the birthday party thing is because he's the GOAT. Because you think he's going to be the most prepared player, because he always has been. Well, he's not been this year.
I got a question based on that report that came out. Who's leaking that info?
I don't know.
Is Bruce Arians leaking this info? Cover for his boys?
I don't know.
Is that what's going on here? I see a lot of people that are putting that out there in response to the report that this has to be like a BA leak. And at this point, nothing would shock me.
It's pretty detailed.
It's pretty detailed.
Pretty detailed.
It sounds like it would come from BA. I mean, who else would be leaking this out there?
Well, I'll say this. If I were BA, I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed at this whole thing. I'd be pissed at this whole damn thing.
Yeah. I still haven't gotten over it. I know that at some point we have to move on, and he's not here anymore, and he's never coming back. But the fact that I
was told by multiple people that he's not involved in the offense at all. He's sitting there in the freaking room, and your offense is the worst. I don't
believe a single thing that's coming out of one Buck right now. Not a single thing from what people are saying, where he's involved or not. He knows what's going on.
Well, he definitely
knows what's going on.
Well, he knows what's going on. What I'm saying is why, and this is the stuff that doesn't make sense. This is the stuff that doesn't make sense. If he's involved, okay, which he should be, it's not like you kick him out of the building, right? He should be involved, especially when your offense is this bad. Isn't somebody walking down the hall going, "Hey, man, can you help?" Evidently not.
But this is the problem, though. We're going on week 15 now. This team is 6-7. Honestly, probably should be like 2-10 or whatever. They have no business having 6 wins on the year. They've been saved by Tom Brady and 2 of them to get 2 of them, right? Mm-hmm. Against the Rams and against last week. Yep. And the defense has bailed them out and all the other ones. Yep. They honestly are lucky to have 6 wins. Yeah, but the problem is we're talking about all these different – here's the problem. We're talking about all these different factors. Who leaked this? Who did that? Where's BA? Where's BA? I mean, all this stuff. There's too much noise surrounding this
team.
There hasn't been clean at any point throughout this season. No. Save the Germany trip, maybe. That was it. The only time where it felt anything was flowing correctly.
Now we learn that's a Seattle team on the decline.
Yes.
Yeah. All of that. And it's funny. I was thinking, I said, you remember when Brady first got here, it was all champagne and roses and unicorns, and everybody would bought in, and he's the GOAT, and he was, and I'm not taking anything away from him. That Super Bowl season was freaking magical. The fact that he came here and won a Super Bowl is the greatest thing that's ever happened to the Buccaneers. It is. It is the greatest thing that's ever happened to the Buccaneers and the Buccaneers fandom. And it was all, even last year, 13 wins, fantastic. It was awesome. But, Brady's also the one that brought in Antonio Brown. and vouched for him. And
Well,
then
it worked.
It did for 1 year. And then we see that text message that AB put out there. And that was what, in May? In May, before the 2021 season. And AB was already acting a fool. And he was and Brady was texting him to say, "Come on, man, I'm vouching for you, and a lot of people are vouching for you. Get your crap together here. Get your crap together." But yet he was still with the team. And you can only imagine what was going on. And Brady's the one that was his mentor, right? He was the one that brought him in. He was the one that was keeping him here. I can guarantee you Bruce Arians wanted to get rid of him a hell of a lot earlier, because we heard rumblings of this well before he took off his jersey in New York. And so, again, these are things that when everybody came in, it was kind of like the Gruden thing. Gruden came in and was just like, he was the savior. He was the savior, and he brought energy, and he brought the new offense. He brought everything. Won a Super Bowl, and it was fantastic. And from the day they won that Super Bowl in Gruden's era, it was downhill from there.
Not to defend Tom Brady or anything, and I'm not trying to absolve his play yesterday, because he was awful. He missed a lot of throws. I don't know why. He's underthrowing Julio Jones, who had a step or two. He underthrew Scotty Miller.
The end zone throw to Mike Evans. I just don't understand.
I'd venture to say it's one of the worst throws of his career. I mean, that's an obvious throw to make for anybody to go over the top there to Mike Evans, and he threw it at his feet. Open. He threw it at his feet. And again, the Bucs' inability to get 1 yard on 2 attempts. I mean, there you go again. But so I'm not trying to absolve his play, but it was 21-0 before he could even actually.
Well, and that's what I was saying about the calls, and people are talking about the individual plays. You said it yourself. The gap between these two teams,
it's just too big.
Even if they made those
the
plays,
margin of
San
error.
Francisco would come back the next play and make another.
That's what I'm saying. The margin of error for the Bucs is so slim, let alone against a team like San Francisco.
Right.
So when you have the Donovan Smith penalty, when you have the penalties on defense when you can't get off the field, I mean, the first play of the game, which, by the way, I mean, hate the call. I hate the call. It is what it is. I don't know what else Keanu Neal's supposed to do there.
I don't either. And people are defending it and saying, "Oh, you can't. You went too high." Well, if he goes low and the guy puts his head down to protect himself and he hits the helmet, to me, these penalties, these crown of the helmet penalties, are so obvious when they're obvious.
Yeah.
I know that sounds stupid, but to me, the spirit of the rule is if you use your helmet as a weapon, that's a penalty.
Yeah,
did he use his helmet as a weapon there?
I didn't think so. No, he's just a shorter quarterback.
His face mask hit his shoulder. Okay, and what happens when your face mask down here hits your shoulder? What's going to happen? It's going to force your head down.
It's going to force into it.
Duh. I mean, you got to.
Yeah, and
in no way he bear hugged him. He didn't spear him. That was
it ruined a great start to the game. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I understand, you got your ass kicked for the entire game. I don't know if these kind of plays change things at all. But I'm just talking about momentum, which I think is a real thing.
It is.
You never know. You just never know. But it is what it is. You still have to put it in the back of your head and go out and play. And the Bucs didn't do that. But
I just don't want to make any excuses. This team was so.
No, that's what I'm saying. But back to my Brady point though, because not to absolve his play yesterday, but just looking at differences between the teams we saw the last 2 years and this one. I mean, go through the list. Go look at the offensive line. You have a Donovan Smith who's playing some of the worst football of his career. You have an undrafted rookie, Nick Leverett, playing left guard. You have Robert Hainsey, who was a tackle in college, then a guard. Now he's playing center.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have no Alex Kappa. You have no Ali Marpet. You have no Tristan Wirfs. So you have Shaq Mason in there.
You never went out and got and replaced Ryan Jensen.
Josh Wells is playing. So look at your offensive line. It's in shambles based on what it was. And then you go to the weapons. There's no Antonio Brown, who, even though he's just whatever.
Yeah, the Russell
very
Gage
talented.
Thing was a complete whiff.
Gronk's not there.
Yep.
You have Cam Brate, who's old and slow and can't play anymore.
But you got Kate Oden, and again, I'm going to talk about this, but go ahead.
Yeah. Mike Evans right now is not there. His connection with Brady looked like they'd never played before. Chris Godwin can't separate. Russell Gage, I still don't even think is healthy and barely even plays. And then the running game, nobody can run the ball. So you put all that together. Are we really surprised at what we're getting?
But I will say this. I've covered a lot of NFL teams. I've covered a lot of bad NFL lines. I've covered a lot of bad stuff. And I've seen coaches coach around it.
That's a problem.
I've seen coaches coach around that stuff. Good coaching can cover up a lot of bad. And that's why you see look at the Chargers last night. They were completely depleted on defense, right? Yeah. They were missing everybody. And look what they did. They held the Miami Dolphins, one of the best offenses in the league, to 17 points.
Yeah.
And one was a fluke touchdown. They completely shut down Tua and Waddle and Hill. Completely shut them down with a bunch of backups. Everybody in this league is talented. You don't make this league unless you're talented. And good coaches can find those guys and put them in there. This coaching staff is absolutely horrific at identifying who's good and who's not. Next example, Devin Tompkins. How long have we watched that cowardly number one catch a football and run for the sidelines for a year and 13 games, 12 games? And that's how long it took for these guys to understand that the dude had no heart, and you kept letting him do it because he was fast. And Devin Tompkins, by the way, looks just as fast to me. That first return, what did he do? He stuck his effing nose in there.
Yeah, he's fearless.
He's fearless. And then he runs 1 for 65.
Yeah.
I mean,
the longest kick return in 12 years for the Bucs. In his first game doing it.
The dude's been sitting on the practice squad the entire freaking.
Yeah, that's why news for you.
I got news for you. You put him in for 17, and you'll get your money's worth. All right? Let 17 sit his ass on the bench because he's hurt and can't play. And let Tompkins go out there and catch footballs.
Guess what? I'm all for it.
Run around.
I'm all for it because he's not really doing anything to begin with on the field.
No,
but you want to know what he did yesterday that irritated me?
Caught a touchdown?
Oh, caught a touchdown. And then you know what he does?
Apropos.
And then goes on the bench. And what's he doing?
Oh, my God.
He's laughing. He's giggling. He's having a good time.
Oh, my God.
I just made a play. You didn't do shit. You haven't done anything all year. You're a $10 million receiver. And I understand
What an embarrassment.
I understand that you're not that healthy. I get it. But it's 35-0, bro.
Listen,
I don't want to see that on the side.
If he's not healthy, why is he playing? Tompkins looks healthy. These guys cannot
He's not playing much. He's not playing much.
This coaching staff cannot identify who can play and who can't.
No, and that's why they get no credit for Devin Tompkins.
Yeah, Rashad White, Devin Tompkins. What did Devin Tompkins preseason? Did it take freaking Bill Walsh to say, "Oh, that guy can play. Oh, that guy can play"? No, we all saw it. We're like, damn. I went to practice almost every day. I'm like, "Whoa, that guy can play. He's schooling everybody." And how it's week 13.
It's like, did you see anything from?
I'm not saying that would have changed the season. What I'm saying is we have multiple examples of this coaching staff not being able to identify who can play. This
is the wrong coaching staff to be dealing with disarray all over the place.
Right.
That's again, it's coaching malpractice. We saw it again yesterday between some of the decisions that were made offensively. I mean, I said it. By the way, up-tempo offense we were talking about. Did the Bucs run one play of up-tempo in the first half?
I don't recall any.
I don't recall any. And then when they came out of the half down 28-0, and by then I know the game's over, but it's 28-0. I mean, I don't want you to completely phone it in, right?
Right.
In this league, you never know. What do? Run up the middle to Rashad White, a little screen to Chris Godwin, which I saw like 10 times yesterday. It never works. I at this point, I hope one of them gets returned for 6. It never works. And then we're throwing to Cam Brate, and then he throws an interception. I mean, that's the game plan coming out of half down 28-0. I know the game was over, but it's just, again, this coaching staff is lost.
Yeah.
They are lost, and so is this team.
So, here's the predicament that is just really interesting, to be quite honest. I mean, and I'm here for it for the rest of the season.
I think I know where you're going.
It's like if you're Todd Bowles, okay. And by the way, good listen today to Rick Stroud's podcast. He was talking. He said somebody saw Joel Glazer walking out, and Joel Glazer was pissed.
Ooh.
Was pissed. And how could you not be if you own this team? But it's like Joel Glazer's seen a lot of bad football. You know what I'm saying? He's seen a lot of bad football. He's not going to get pissed because of bad football. There's something else here, and you know what it is. I feel he probably feels like he was hoodwinked. Like, we got a plan. Tom doesn't want to play for Bruce, so we're going to bring Bowlesy in. He likes Todd. We'll make him the head coach, and then Bruce will magnanimously hand it over to a year early, and I'm saying that all that was BS. I'm not saying that was. I think there's foundation to all of that. This is what Bruce has been about all his life. This was the best exit strategy for everybody because it made sense, right? It was part of who Bruce Arians is. It is a great idea because Todd Bowles, I don't think, was going to get another opportunity outside of the Buccaneers. And I think Bruce Arians knew that. And I think we're seeing why. And again, I love Todd Bowles to death as a human being. He's a great dude and a great father and a great defensive coordinator. Fantastic defensive coordinator.
You got taken to school yesterday.
He's just not a good coach. He's not a good head coach. And I think, to his defense a little bit, a lot of stuff has been taken out of his hands, who his offensive coordinator was. He didn't get to hire his own staff.
This is not his staff.
This is not his own staff. Would it make the way he manages a game, would it make much difference? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
And even yesterday, a great example of it, what was it, the Bucs' second drive of the game? It was like a similar situation to last week when he decided to punt from inside the 49ers territory. Well, it was a little bit longer. I think it was like 4th and 9 or something this time. So you're obviously not going for it.
Yeah.
And you're kind of in no man's land. But he decides to send out Ryan Suckup for a 55-yarder, who the longest he was kicking in warm-ups was 51, and we know doesn't have a strong leg. Oh, and it was crappy weather too. Right. And that was one of the worst attempts I've ever seen from that far out.
Didn't that smack of, well, everybody's been telling me I need to go
for it?
Yeah,
It sounded like he was like, the big bad media is not going to get me this time. You want me to get points? Here you go. Listen, I'm not saying I don't know what the right decision is there. I would, at that point, I'd probably just say, okay, punt the football. But
I wasn't as clued into it because I think it was the game. I just saw the game unfolding. I'm like, there's so much more physical. There's so much better than we are. There's no way we're winning this game. I'm not going to nitpick punts or no punts. It's ridiculous at this point. But I think it was 21-0 at that point.
No, it was like 7-0.
Was it that?
It was close.
Yeah, okay, maybe it was. But, I think I'd already given up. But I gave up on Wednesday last week, so I was early to the party. But I just it just that felt like a force, like a big force. Like I'm supposed to kick a field goal here. Well, not with that guy. That was Mr. Irrelevant. I didn't realize that he was Mr. Irrelevant too.
Oh,
that was a bad decision. I think you go for it there, actually, but you can't give up a
in
possession in a game where your defense isn't.
Other than that, like there's something else I can really critique about Todd Bowles' head coaching job yesterday because it was complete or head and game management because he didn't have any decisions really to make.
He made a great call on the first play.
That's about it, and then he got schooled for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
but then again, the defense. I mean, how long can you go without having Antoine Winfield and Sean Murphy Bunting and Mike Edwards back there? Yeah. You can't go. It showed, and then Vita Vea goes out right away. Who else went out? There's two other guys that went out during the game. Jamel Dean went out.
Yep, for portion.
And then there's one more. I'm like totally drawing a blank right now, but one more starter went out.
Yeah, when Vita Vea goes out, you're like your physicality just left the building.
Yeah,
and you look like I was breaking down that one play, a couple of the run plays, the Debo play and the CMC play early on, and they're just knocking. They're double teaming Golston. And so he's knocked 6 yards off the ball into Devin White. Levante tries to turn it back in. He gets blocked. Anthony Nelson is, wide 9, just leaving the building, creating a huge gap by rushing upfield. And then there's no safety to be had, and it's just like, you're like, wow, they could run that play 100 times in a row and there's nothing we can do about it. Kind of like what Cleveland did.
Yeah.
There comes a time when you are just so out physicaled, and without Vita Vea up front, this team can be pushed around like big time. Like, to the point where they may not win another game. They may not win another game.
I told you the New Orleans game, they proved me wrong there, but I said I wasn't picking them to win another game this year.
Yeah. They may not win
another game. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
And 209 rushing yards yesterday.
If Vita Vea can't play the rest of the way, which,
they got no shot.
At this point, if it's a calf injury, I'd shut him down. There's really no point. There's no point. I'd put in everybody who hasn't had a chance to play because they're probably better than the other guy. No, I'm not saying that, but at some point with this offensive line, I gotta start taking a look.
I mean, I would have started pulling guys out of the game yesterday. They didn't pull anybody out of the game yesterday.
I know Brady wouldn't want to come out, but I mean,
somebody's got to protect him from himself.
Yeah. Yes.
There was no need to
protect him from himself. There's no reason for him to be in that game.
You can call me that I'm nitpicking or anything, but there was no reason for him to be in that game in the fourth quarter. It would have been a nice game if Kyle Trask had been active to get him some touches. I don't know.
Well, I think what they don't want to see is Blaine Gabbert running around making plays. To be quite honest, I think they don't want to see Blaine Gabbert running around making plays on the run and running for 15 and 20 yards like every other quarterback in this league does. I'm not saying Blaine Gabbert's better than Tom Brady. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying with this offensive line in this offense, how could it be worse? Seriously, how could it be worse? This is the worst offense in the league. You can't run the football. You can't throw it.
No, I actually think it is.
It's the
I really
worst
do.
offensively. How could it be worse with Blaine Gabbert?
That's what I'm saying. It's a miracle they have 6 wins.
Yeah.
Like we've been saying, like the only offenses that are worse are like Pittsburgh or like Denver or like Houston and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't imagine, like if I was to watch those teams as closely, I can't imagine it looks as dysfunctional as this. They have scored by far less points than everybody in their division, which stinks.
Yeah.
That's starting Andy Dalton, Sam Darnold, and Desmond Ridder now. They've scored less points than all those offenses.
I think if you look it up, because it was a 1 touchdown difference a couple weeks ago, and Houston scored 3 yesterday, right? So I think the Texans may have more touchdowns than the Bucs this year. I think that might be true.
They might.
Or it's very close. It's very close. I mean, and so what are you doing? It's, and I'm, what does it say? What do the numbers say?
The Bucs have outscored them 224 to 211. The Texans. That's it. That's it.
Wow, the Texans, the Houston,
the Bucs,
Texans.
the Bucs again after they ran for what, like 40 yards yesterday, maybe
60, I think.
Yeah,
which is about their average.
Yeah, they dropped their season average somehow. They still dropped their season average there to 72 a game, the worst that we've seen in the NFL over the past like 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
This team sucks.
It's awful.
This team sucks. And by the way, I got news for you. And this is the reality, so get ready for it, Bucs fans. You know who the Bucs play next week?
The Bengals.
The Bengals. Do you know who the Panthers play next week?
Who?
The Steelers. And do you know if the Bucs lose and the Panthers win, guess who's in first place in the NFC South?
The Panthers.
The Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
I got news for you. That's reality.
Yeah.
So everybody can talk about, they're going to be fine.
If there's no miracle yesterday, last week against the Saints, if the Saints don't help out the Bucs and win that game.
Oh, you're already out of first place.
You're already out of first place.
The Panthers have the tiebreaker over you right now. The Panthers, look at this. Look at the last 4 games for the Panthers. Steelers, Lions, who are playing well, albeit.
I just figured out why Joe was so mad.
What?
I just figured it out.
What?
Because it's 1 game now.
Ooh.
And if they don't win they can win this division. But they're going to win the division if they win their last 2 games, I think. If they beat Atlanta, unless one of those teams goes on a run. If they win their last 2 against Carolina and Atlanta, they're going to win the division.
Yeah.
They could lose to the Bengals in Arizona, right? And be 6-9 and then finish 8-9, but they'd have tiebreakers over those other teams.
Yes.
Well, maybe not Carolina. I'd have to look at the conference record, but I think I've already read that they would. So, but if they don't get that home game, you know how much money that's going to cost the Glazers? If they don't get that home game, that's a huge monetary.
That's what I'm saying. We've been saying
because you fill the stadium, all the luxury boxes get another hit. I don't know what the number is, but it's got to be in the maybe 8 figures.
Yeah, and likely a game that'd be against, I think, San Francisco.
Yeah.
And they'd be slated. We'd have to do this again.
Oh my God.
We'd have to do this again.
Yeah, it'd be embarrassing. But
that's what I'm saying, though. Like, we're at the point now. We can't just keep saying, oh, well, they're going to win the division. They're going to host a playoff game. We'll see what happens. No, you are most likely going to be out of first place by the time we're talking about this next Monday.
It's bad. All right, so I'm going to get a couple of your comments in here before we hit the break, and I know we're way over, but that's what we do here. We give you content, guys. We just want to give you content. We're not going to the 8-minute sponsor trip every 5 minutes here. All right, let's go to Leo Guillemata. I saw many people saying that this was Brady's audition for next season for the 49ers. Well, he epically failed that audition. I don't see how anybody looking at this right now can say Tom Brady can still play. I guess if you put with the 49ers, with that roster, with that offensive line, maybe.
Look at what they just did with Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but there's nothing wrong with Brady physically.
Purdy can run, man.
There's nothing wrong with Brady physically. There's nothing wrong with him physically.
I don't know.
He's probably underselling the hand injury a little bit.
He last year and early in this season, he was accurate. The last 2 years and this year, he was accurate.
Yes.
And he was throwing with
velocity. There's reasons why he's not as accurate this year. I think he's just pressing a lot.
I think he's pressing, but I also think it's the finger, and I think it's the shoulder. And it maybe, remember when he's taking days off, because you got to rest that arm. The arm gets tired.
He's practicing more this year than he was last year.
He's still taking days off. But those overthrows on the deep balls, that's where you start seeing and underthrows.
And the one he stepped in for Julio is worse.
When you're and the throw to Mike, and he can't throw off platform. He's got to be able to step into the throw every single time. And with this offensive line, you don't get that opportunity very often. But even when he can step into the throw on these deep balls, he's missing. And those are throws he never used to miss.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal in this offense. I think they put last year they were number 1 in explosive plays, and with 119. I think this year they have 59, which is last. Okay, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And again, it's not all Brady. It's offensive line, but he's definitely not throwing.
He ain't
the ball
helping.
like
He ain't helping anything.
Chris Cole said this team is trash. That's succinct. Jeff Stanislaw and Debo, I'll probably save them another touchdown or two. Absolutely.
Oh, and by the way, the turnover was only because Debo got hurt on that play.
Yeah.
It wasn't because somebody knocked that out.
Yeah.
He just folded on himself and dropped it.
Right, exactly. And the ball laid there for a second.
Yeah, and it's like nobody knew what to do. They're like, oh my gosh, do I pick it up?
Is that a
Like,
fumble?
what do I do?
Is that what the fumble looks like?
Apparently.
I guess I need to jump on that.
Yeah.
You go? No, you go. No, you. Okay, you. Yeah. I mean,
what a sad team, man.
From a super high to a super low. Now we will see what they if they have want to fight if they're folding up shop. No, they already folded.
They
up shop.
folded.
That was yesterday. What a wasted year.
Season of hell.
And this last one. I can't imagine Jason Light happy with these results and Todd Bowles as head coach. This team has no energy and completely gave up. Byron is a fraud. He just calls plays, no schemes or anything. Well, he doesn't know what the game plan is until that morning, evidently.
Well, here the thing about Byron Leftwich, and I think a lot of people, you're correct. A lot of people today are talking more about Brady than Byron a little bit. But here's the thing. Like you said earlier, a good offensive coordinator knows how to scheme around these things and deal with injuries. You want to know a good example of that? The 49ers, who were on a third quarterback.
That's right.
With no Deebo Samuel in the game. Running backs hurt. Guys hurt all over the place. It doesn't seem to bother them. No, because it's Todd Bowles. They're going up against a scheme.
Right.
A scheme that is great. That is quarterback proof at this point.
Well, and when you got and when you got big bad dudes up front and you know you have an advantage in the running game, you take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And then that sets up the passing game, which Purdy was on target. He made plays. How about the bootleg where he rolls out? And I think it was a Tryon, JTS.
Oh, yeah, it was no-show Tryon again.
When he's got him one-on-one on a bootleg, he finally has contained, and he lets him step up inside to make the play for the touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
or how about a Devin White also getting juked out of his mind by Brock Purdy in open space?
Yeah. And the other one that was curious, and you guys can go watch this on the replay because I can't make heads or tails of it. And sometimes it's hard to see the angle. And the players know better than we do, but I'm just looking at the tape. But on Debo's touchdown run, first of all, Devin takes a false step because of all the action that's going on in the backfield, and his man is fine. So I don't really hate him for that, but he did take a false step to the right. And then he scrapes over to the left trying to get to Debo as he's going outside. Debo turns the corner, and at about the 5-yard line, they're about to meet. And all he's got to do is push him out. And I literally see him take his hand away like he doesn't want to contact him. Like if I put my hand out there and my shoulder out there, I might get, ripped off because it's Deebo Samuel, which I get it, but that's not your job. Your job is to knock him out of bounds. And he didn't. He almost moved, like he moved his hand away. Like he didn't stick his head in there or dive at his legs or anything to knock him out. It was just a weird play. And then he scored. You guys can go look at it on the tape. And it just, I don't know what that is. Was that a business decision? I don't know, but there were a lot of guys making them yesterday, and it just
and also too real quick, the Joe Tryon Shawinka, who I just called him no-show Tryon because how about this? In 5 games since Shaq Barrett's injury, he has 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, and 7 tackles. That's it. For your first-round pick from last year, who we expected, some people were saying double-digit sack season. He's just a body out there.
Yeah, and not a very.
He's doing nothing.
He's not a very big one.
He's doing nothing. Carl Nassib's outplaying him. Yeah. Anthony Nelson's outplaying him. The only 2 guys that probably deserve to be on any most impressive list are those 2 guys. And I shouldn't be having to say that, given the names on that defense.
I said this last week, and I'll say it again. This team needs dogs. I mean, big men who are like dogs. Vita Vea is a big man. He doesn't have a lot. He doesn't have a lot of outward dog in him. You know, he's kind of like Maui.
Yeah.
He's just like a fun-loving guy, but he beats people up. But who else on that defense is a dog?
Devin White might think he's a dog, but he's not.
He is sometimes.
It's just too inconsistent. We sing his praises coming into this game, and then what does he do? He goes right back to the old Devin White.
Yeah, it's too inconsistent. He doesn't take on, blockers, shed them, and just pound people.
I think Carlton Davis looks like he could be a dog, but he doesn't make nearly enough plays, and he's an overpaid corner at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, Antoine Winfield sticks his nose in there, but he's always
hurt
because he's now he's concussed and multiple times.
Yeah, and you have to worry about that.
It's like, how's that? Shut him down for the year. Get him better.
Keanu O'Neal, I think, is a dog.
He is, but he
can be a bit reckless though.
But he constantly busts. Yeah, he hits hard, but he's also
he's a bit reckless out there.
He's reckless and he busts coverages, and you can't trust him sometimes. But he's the only one that's sticking his nose in there.
No,
I'm not the only.
No,
one,
and also too, Akeem Hicks. He is no Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah,
he is. I mean, I don't know what Ndamukong Suh's doing with the Eagles right now. I'm assuming they're playing well because their run defense magically has looked better since they got him and Linval Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
But Akeem Hicks has not been what the Bucs thought he was going to be.
Yeah, this team is soft, and it's not very big. It's not very physical. It's not. I mean, just look at it.
Yeah.
You can look, you look at the Eagles and you look at the 49ers. And that was the biggest reason I said last week that this was going to be a blowout, because the 49ers just beat the hell out of you.
Yeah.
They beat the hell, and they could run it well. I knew they could run it well. They're going to beat you up physically, and they demoralize you because of how physical they play. Same thing with the Eagles. I saw the Eagles do that yesterday to the Giants. Yeah. I mean, it's
look what the Lions did to the Vikings.
Yeah, it's noticeable.
Yeah,
it's noticeable. And it's a team that, I don't know how this team got so soft in 2 years, but it is soft.
I don't know how the culture just eroded like this in 2 years.
JPP, no Ndamukong Suh, Brian Jensen is a big, nasty man.
It is.
It's a big nasty deal. Man. And he sets the tone for that offense. Tristan Wirfs is a big, nasty man. And you move those people out, and suddenly you're just soft. And, that's what we're seeing. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We're going to hear from Todd Bowles and Tom Brady. Lots of interesting things to get to on that. We're going to get to the Bolts as well. They're playing some pretty good hockey, by the way. So we'll talk about them. There's some college football news as well. Did you see the Caleb Williams stuff? Yikes. He's not going to fit in well at the Heisman house. I don't think they're going to let him in. He's not very nice. We'll do that when we come back. We're brought to you by Emerging Investigations and the Jeeves Law Group. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell him JP sent you.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida. JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Emerging Investigations, emerginginv.com. If you need any help with a criminal matter or maybe insurance fraud, somebody trying to get over on your insurance company, that's some work that they do a lot of for different law firms around the Tampa Bay area. If you have an issue with your spouse and you think something's going on, don't take matters into your own hand and check social media, put a tracker on their car, any of that stuff. Let the professionals do it so you can get an unbiased opinion of what's going on, and you can make some of life's biggest decisions with accurate information. It's important, and I know it's probably something different, and you want to make the call and find out what it's all about. Do it. Rachel will answer the phone, and she'll talk you through it and let you know exactly how it goes. So just go to emerginginv.com and give them a call. Tell them you heard it on the JP Show, and it's a free call, free consultation. They'll tell you how it works, and then you can decide what you want to do. So again, emerginginv.com. Give them a call. All right, let's get into some of the time. By the way, I'm watching in the break the Jalen Phillips roughing the passer call last night on in the Chargers game, and Justin Herbert. And what are guys supposed to do, man? This is the stupidest stuff in football. And it's he's trying to get the guy to get him down Herbert on the side, but Herbert rolls into him and he has to land on him. It's physics, man. You can't call a penalty. These are game-changing penalties. These roughing the passer calls, except in the Bucs case. And I rebuke the one on Keanu Neal. I think it's a joke. I mean, he puts his face mask into his shoulder, and his head has to come down because the face mask is attached to the helmet.
Well, we can have a discussion though about the Keanu Neal one. There's no discussion there. That's
I don't think there's a discussion on either one of them.
Well, I mean, that's just, again, zebras feel like they have to be a part of the game. It's really not even their fault. I mean, they're doing what they're mandated, they're told to do.
Like if you somehow, these quarterbacks get hurt, the game's going to go away. Look at Brock Purdy. I mean,
did you see Mike White this week?
Yeah, Mike White's fine. A lot of these guys can play, and it's just like,
I don't know if he's fine. He went to the hospital, but
well, yeah, true. But he can. How about there's another USF quarterback that couldn't play here, that goes to Western Kentucky, lights it up, and now he's a starter in the NFL, but he couldn't play here at USF. Yeah, so it's a little bizarre what's going on. All right, let's listen to this was the press conference post game that Joel Glazer was probably furious about. Here's Bowles. He was asked if there's any changes coming to this coaching staff or to the team in general.
Always tweak things. It's way too late in the season to just flat out change. If you had some things, because the system's in place, but you can coach it better and you can play it better. Anytime you win, it's coaching and playing together. Anytime you lose, it's coaching and playing together. And we got to coach it better and they got to play it better. It's simple as that.
Yeah, this team is fractured. It's time for bold changes. You're going to have to demote people, tell Tom he can't do his meeting at night anymore. If indeed that's going on, you got to make bold changes, because it can't, especially offensively, it can't get any worse.
Well,
it can't get any worse.
He's already said it though, and I agree with him. The time for a bold change, like changing coordinators or somebody on the offensive staff. I mean, the time's passed. You're stuck with it.
It's really not. You still have a chance,
but they're not going to do it because they're in a playoff run. If they were 6-7 and you had an 11-win team in the division and you were out of it completely, it's a different conversation.
That's part of the problem. You're treating this team like everything's okay, and we just need to tweak some things, and we could,
What was tweaked?
No.
Let me know what was tweaked. What has been tweaked
this week? Devin Tompkins' return, and the return game it improved dramatically. Unfortunately,
what was tweaked offensively?
Nothing. I saw nothing new. I'm trying to think. No,
I saw the same screens to Chris Godwin.
Nothing new.
I saw the same runs up the gut.
Nothing new.
What was new? I saw Mike Evans not get targeted in the first half. What was new?
Yeah. He and Brady are not on the same page. They're not on the same page is not the way to say it anymore. They're feuding. They're feuding. They're not. It's not on the same page. They're feuding. Evans has had enough. There's no question about that. I would actually like to ask him. All right. What's the next one there?
Here, let me save you real quick.
Yeah, you've got. Give me your. There we go. Did Purdy present problems? God, I hope not. They presented opportunities. Is what he should have presented to a defensive coordinator. No question.
He didn't present any problems. He ran the offense, and Kyle did a great job. They got us on 2 double moves, and he ran the offense. Everything we knew had it coming, and we just got to know. We sat up there, and in short, we got our asses kicked.
Yeah, they got matchups that they wanted all day long, and that's the essence of coaching. You have to anticipate where they're going to hit you, and you have to make changes and adjustments. Yeah. And then when they hit you in game, you have to make changes and adjustments. Didn't see a whole lot of that.
Yeah. Bull said a lot here, but he could have just saved his breath and just said this, though.
Okay.
We suck.
Thank you, John Tortorella. See? Torch would call it like he sees it. Yeah. And I think to some degree Bowles did too. Let's do on Donovan Smith's struggles.
On tackles with Tristan down. So, no, we got to play better. We know what Donovan is. We can't have the penalties. It's Bucs beating Bucs. He had some last week. He had some this week. He's got to play better. We got to play better as a group. We got to coach better as a group.
I'm not here to say that Brandon Walton would be better, but I'm here to say that can you just keep putting him out there? Whatever's going on with his elbow, can we just keep putting him out there? I don't know. I don't think we can. All right, let's take a quick break. We're having a little bit of a technical difficulty, so we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get the rest of the bowls. We were behind the break anyway, so 3-minute break. When we come back, we'll do some more bowls. And Brady, got to break down some of these comments, and we're going to ask the question: is this a one-term coach? I think that's what we're looking at for a rebuild. So we'll tackle that question when we come back. This is the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Emerging Investigation and the Jeeves Law Group. Stay with us. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agent. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations.
Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. They'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call, 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others, 888-325-0605.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Our second hour is sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. If you have been injured in an accident or you got your car totaled and didn't give it as much money as you think you should have gotten, well, give them a call at Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Just go to the website, set up a free consultation. They also do class action lawsuits if you need to be involved in one of those or anything in the legal realm. They are a tough and aggressive law firm. Scott Jeeves is the best. So go onto their website, JeevesLawGroup.com, and tell them JP sent you. All right, I want to get back into some of this, the ball sound from after the game. And the question is out there. I don't think there's any thought about this, but if the Bucs go through a rebuild, and obviously this is coming, and I don't think Brady's coming back for another year to play. And even if he does, it's certainly not going to be here. So this is going to be a total rebuild. And, I just don't think this is the coaching staff to do that. I'm not sure who is. There'll be a lot of candidates out there. Obviously, this team still has a lot of good bones to it. I think Mike Evans still has a couple of years left. Chris Godwin is definitely a building piece. I think Tristan Wirfs is definitely a building piece. I would probably move on from Donovan Smith for what we're paying him. I think Hainsey can be a really good guard. I think Leverett's a good player. I think, defensively, Vita Vea is your cornerstone. You got to get some edge rushers. You got to go get some edge rushers. That's a big deal. I think, obviously you got to replace Levante David. Carlton Davis is here for a while. He's got to learn how to get interceptions. I would re-sign Jamel Dean.
I think Jamel Dean's playing himself out of a contract right now.
Yeah, he might be.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, but there's some building blocks here. Rashad White's a good player. He's a good running back. Really is. I like him a lot. Well, I think Devin. I'm crazy about this kid.
I know you are.
I think Devin Tompkins could be a nice player for you.
Yeah, Kate Otten looks like he could be your tight end in the future.
Yeah. There's some pieces here.
Yeah, the problem is the high end draft picks that you've invested in. You need more.
Yeah.
And I know Logan Hall. I'm not even really judging him at this moment because he barely plays. He's a defensive lineman. Take a while to get going. Vita Vea didn't get going until year 3. Yeah. For being honest. He showed some in year 2, but year 1 he wasn't really good.
His numbers weren't big, but you could see he was a game changer.
Yeah, he's not even playing right now, Logan Hall. So
Logan Hall, from what I've seen, is not.
But
good.
JTS, I think
he's not big and he's not a dog.
But JTS is to me the one. Maybe we had too big of expectations.
Yeah, I think we did.
Maybe
we did.
But
again, I just look at some of these guys, and I see them with their shirt off. I hate to say this, but they're not like huge muscular guys. They're not.
I don't know if that translates to wins or a tough team. I don't know, but
yeah. When you looked across this, when you saw those Steelers, go look at the 49ers. Look at them. That's a big bad team.
It is.
You look at the Eagles. There's a lot of dogs out there.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think this coaching staff is the one to do the rebuild.
No, me neither.
No, no. It just doesn't. I don't see it. I don't see it. So I think you probably got to scrap the whole thing and go to the rebuild. All right, here's Bowles on my favorite player, Devin Tompkins. Let's do number 4.
He gave us a spark. Got to hold on to the ball, but he gave us a spark. He's quick, and we know he can do some things with the ball, and he showed that today.
What? This is the thing that bothers me too about this staff. It's
even
they always find a way. They did the same thing with Nick Leverett. It was technique. It was a little bit. They always got to put some kind of little backhanded stab in there somewhere
to cover their ass for not playing them from the beginning.
I saw the play that he was talking about. It was over by the sideline after he broke like 2 or 3 tackles and showed some willingness to take on guys in the return game.
You could have commented on that. Yeah.
I'm over it, man.
He was
out
of
so
bounds
over
when he fumbled the ball.
He was out of bounds when he fumbled the ball, and it went straight out of bounds. And literally, it's like he broke 2 tackles to get there. What's the other guy doing?
Running for the sideline.
The other guy's muffing punts.
Yeah, muffing punts and running for the sideline and avoiding contact, and you kept putting them out there. All right, here's Bowles stating the obvious that we beat ourselves.
They're devastating because we're playing the Niners and we're playing the Bucs, and you can't beat 2 teams, and we're beating ourselves. And credit to them, they beat us as well. They had a good scheme, but we're beating ourselves too, making it even harder.
This whole they had a good scheme. Well, adjust to it in the game. Come on, Todd. You've been doing this your entire career, and you're really good at it too.
Again, you're doing the Todd.
I am doing the Todd.
You're doing the Todd well.
I'm doing the Todd. You're saying you got out schemed every week now. It's like we're getting out.
Yeah, and if this is an audition, by the way, to any vote to get confidence from the Glazers, you're not doing a good job by coming up to the podium every week and saying you got out coached.
Yeah,
I can't see how the Glazers could stick around for this.
Well, you got to coach it better and play it better. Okay, well, go do that for somebody else.
I don't know. Somebody sent me like a meme yesterday, and it had like, a picture of Todd Bowles and Lovie Smith, and it was like, try to spot the difference between the two, and people are like, it's the same picture, and I'm like, I tell you what, they look like the same guy right now. There's not much separating them.
They really.
He didn't last long. I don't think this guy's lasting long either.
Yeah. I don't see how you, like, at this point, you're 6 and 7 and you're still in first place, and you're like, how could you possibly bring him back? It's just it's the coaching.
Yeah, and you're going to stink next year. I think we're already resigned to that fact. This team's not going to be very good next year. So what's the point of bringing him in? Because then to me, you're just wasting a year. You're wasting a year of a guy who's not going to be here in 2024 then, because you're going to stink.
I'm telling you, the only narrative that saves this coaching staff, is that we gave Tom too much power.
And that's what I'm telling you.
Power. We didn't say no to Tom, and he's gone, and so we'll be better.
And that's why it wouldn't surprise me if Bruce Arians leaked this info to save his coaching staff, his guys. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know.
That's some pretty detailed info. And I think it deserves a lot more discussion, to be frank. And we'll get into that a little bit later on. If you missed it in the first half, we'll read it again. And here's Bowles on. This was his first comment, I believe, when he came into took the podium, and I think it's pretty telling. Number 7.
Played bad in all phases. We coached bad. We got out coached. Credit to Kyle and his guys. They did a great job. We got our ass kicked on offense. We got our ass kicked on defense.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up there.
Yeah, my bad. I meant to play this other one. Let me go back to the one that you wanted here.
Yeah, okay.
We got to decide what kind of team we want to be. We can't be one set of Bucs and another set of Bucs. It's got to mean something. We got a 1-game lead with 4 games to go. Either we want it or we don't. You can't care more than everybody else. As a coach, you don't go on the field, but we definitely got out-coached, so we're not excused from this at all. But we got outplayed as well. So as a team, as a group, we got to buckle down, and we got to decide what our fate is in the next few weeks.
I was watching the game. I was kind of watching the body language of Brady and the body language of his teammates, and I don't see a lot of love. Not like I did, back in the Super Bowl season, and even last year. They celebrated a lot together. There was always talking on the sideline. Guys were always, he seems a lot more isolated than he has in years past.
Just everything's off.
Yeah.
To sum it up, it's all off. And I thought it was great. I mean, you mentioned Rick's podcast, and I was listening to it too. And he said he went to the locker room, and it was the first time that he looked around and spoke to guys and saw lack of belief.
Yeah.
And when you lose lack of belief, there's really nothing else you can do. Like, you at that point, you've lost when you have no more belief. And I think Cam Brady told them, we're still first place in the division, but it doesn't feel like it. It just feels like we're playing for nothing. It's a sad truth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any way back from this year. I don't. I think you're selling false hope if you really are trying to get your hopes up for, we're going to host a playoff game and we have Tom Brady and anything can happen. Not this year. This is not the Tom Brady. And I don't want to be, flip-floppy, because we came on here on Tuesday's show last week and, we were lucky to have Tom Brady and we're spoiled and all that. Yeah. In moments like we saw last week, we are, but more often than not this year, we haven't seen that.
Well, and it's the only time that he's really good is when they're in the up tempo and he could take advantage of everything he does really well. And it negates the defensive coordinator's advantage on our offensive coordinator, because they can't substitute. They can't bring their exotic packages in, and he knows pre-snap where he's going to go with the ball. So and also there's a mindset of them really, really trying to score. Whereas I think they play a little cautious in the run of the game. It's the quick throws and I don't know. It seems like when they have to score, they're much better at scoring. And there's a level of desperation.
Don't you want to score on every drive?
Of course you do. But I think the up tempo does that, and that's the only time they're really good. All right, here's Brady. Let's do number 9. His homecoming spoiled.
Well, I mean, I love having everyone here, and nice for my family to, come close. And, I think they, a lot of people from a neighborhood came, and, I mean, that's not going to change the outcome of the game, unfortunately, because you got a cheering section. It was sweet to have everyone come and support our team. And they come back to the East Coast in Tampa and support us. And they came out here, which was great. I wish we could have done, obviously, a lot better job, but frustrating day for all of us. And got to go back and regroup, figure out how to get a win.
He doesn't sound too, pissed off about any of it. That's for sure. Let's play number 10 on his lack of connection with Mike Evans. I mean, we saw Mike's, body language last week, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And you can tell that there's a fracture there, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I made a shitty throw to Mike. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a terrible throw, so gotta make it.
Good one too. Him on that touchdown that got called back.
Yeah, it's just kind of, but been a lot of that this year.
Yeah. No, he's not calling out guys, which is good. He needs to put the focus on himself and his bad throws. All right, let's do number 11. Brady on the offensive slow start.
I think all year we never get off the fast starts. We're behind and turns into a pass-a-thon, and it's hard to play football like that. So, it's a good football team. They're good. They played well today. Brock played really well. They made a bunch of plays offensively and defensively and special teams, and we didn't make many offensively. We didn't make many defensively. We didn't make many on special teams. So, you win because you make plays. You keep them from making plays. They make plays and keep you from making plays. You lose by, 28 points.
Yeah. You just can I get this over with? What am I really?
Well, he opened up the press conference and he kind of had a little smile on his face. And he's like, I know y'all have got some questions, and I'm sure I've got some interesting answers for y'all. And that's how he opened it up.
Not many answers.
What is the answer? I mean, you asked him, I think we went back to week 5, week 6, when we didn't even know how bad this could really get.
Mm-hmm.
And you had asked him a question, all these guys coming back. Do you see any hope for this to get better a little bit? And
gave him an opportunity to really kind of, just.
And this was literally during week 6 or something.
Yeah, it was.
And he didn't have a good answer for it. And it's kind of him resigning to the fact, it's really not going to get any better, guys. This is it.
It's basically what he said.
Yeah, and it's gotten worse. Somehow it's gotten. I know they'd won 3 and 4 coming in here and all that, but
there's another thing that Rick said on his podcast that I'm going to see if I can get up with. And typically, these announcers and the production staff are not really supposed to talk about what goes on in the production meeting, but it's kind of been leaked out that Brady's very negative in the production meetings. He's very we're not very good. We're we don't do the, very much like what you just heard, and I do think he's completely, from early on in this season, he's been resigned to the fact that it's just not going to get any better, and which is puzzling. It just doesn't seem to be any fight in the guy whatsoever. Not like we used to see. And I think a lot of it just has to do with everything that's gone on around him and off the field. This has been a year like no other. He's never, and I said this from the very beginning, Tom Brady's, his superpower is preparation. His superpower is preparation and beating you before the snap and before the play. He already knows where he's going with the ball because of his preparation and his study, and then he can execute it with his exceptional throwing ability. That has always been his superpower, and his leadership skills. Guys just believe in him that he's going to get the job done. If you got Tom Brady, you're never out of the game. And I think all of that has disappeared. I think it's fractured. The team is fractured. They don't believe in him and follow him and look at him like they used to, because he's not the same guy. And I don't really say this in a negative personal way. It's just, everything that he had going on off the field, which obviously was going to take away a large chunk of it's very difficult to be your best when those emotional things are going on behind the scenes. And when you take away his superpower of preparation, he's kind of an average guy. And that's what, and he can't run. So that's what we've seen. we're not getting the advantage of him being uber prepared and better schemed up than the other team because of him and the coaching staff. We're not getting his great ability to throw the ball because I think, clearly he's not 100% in throwing the football. And when you don't have that, you got nothing. You got nothing to fall back on. He can't run around. He can't improvise plays. You can't just turn to the running game and run the football. You can't do that either. So you're stuck. And that's where they are right now. And then you do the penalties and turnovers, which we haven't seen the turnovers this year. And that's what happens when you play a really good physical football team. Let's play number 12 from Brady. This is him on the penalties and the turnovers, leading to a loss of momentum, which may or may not have been able to play a role in this game.
Well, I think penalties are a bit, it's penalties, turnovers, third down, red area. It all adds up. There's field position, there's kicking game, there's, what you do on first down. There's so many different little stats and things, and probably not a lot of things we have a lot of advantages on, so we're just going to try to get back to work this week and, play a good team at home and see if we do a lot better job.
See what he said there? We don't have a lot of advantages on. Yeah. It's like, where are they winning? Where can they win? There was a play in the game. It was a 3rd and 9, I believe. And it, showed from the sky cam right behind Brady. So you're kind of reading the play as he's reading it. It was like a 3rd and 9, and he's going back to pass, and Donovan Smith just gets caved in from the left. So he can't step up, and he gets sacked. But even you look down the field, and I'm like, okay, when he hits his back foot, where's he going with the ball? There's nobody open. No. Everybody's blanketed. And you don't see any and then you got Mike Evans coming on a crossing route, and he's got a guy blanketed all over. He's got no separation. There's just nowhere to go with the ball in 2.5 seconds. There's nowhere to go with the ball, and the pocket is collapsing. What the hell is he going to do? That's your offense. That's your offense. You can't. And it's, again, folks, it ain't getting any better. It ain't getting any better. There's no advantages out there. What matchup advantage are you going to take advantage of?
To me, there's only one skill guy who's truly playing up to, I think, what he can do, and it's Julio Jones. Outside of that, nobody else is winning. I think Julio Jones is actually playing really good football right now.
He's starting to.
He's getting up. He's getting up. He's starting to get open a little bit. I wish Tom would have threw him a better ball on that one sideline one earlier.
Yeah, and that was another one where Tom didn't step into the throw. He had an opportunity to.
Yeah.
But he would have had to take a shot. He's not going to do that.
That's what I'm saying. That should be an easy pitch and catch.
Absolutely.
To Julio Jones for 20 yards or whatever.
And that's a staple of your offense.
Yeah.
If you got Julio one-on-one in soft coverage,
you
got to take that 20-yard out.
Yeah, but if I'm looking for advantages that you can take, or matches you can take advantage of, I like Julio Jones right now because most of the time he's getting your third option in your secondary, and he seems to be getting open a little bit more. He got a season high 8 targets yesterday. He went up for one again.
Nice
I've been impressed with Julio Jones, but outside of that, Cade Otton to an extent, but you got to throw him the ball.
Yeah.
And have routes for him, not Cam Brate, which that doesn't seem to change.
Rashad
White he had some moments, I guess, in the passing game, but they're mostly just Brady has nowhere to go, and he just throws to Rashad, and he always got a linebacker on him. They never get him in space, Like McCaffrey,
on the run.
Like McCaffrey always has something designed for him where he's in space and he can go. We just don't have that right now with our running backs.
Yeah, a lot of that going on. All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk some Lightning as they beat the pink stinking Panthers on Saturday night. That was a fun game to attend, kids' night, and there was something that happened in that game that was really, really fun and interesting. I'll tell you about that. And Mike Leach, of Mississippi State, supposed to be playing here in the ReliaQuest Bowl or coaching here, has a very serious health scare. So we'll get you up to date on that. There's a Caleb Williams story that's out there that is irking me tremendously. He wins the Heisman Trophy this week. Great player, but needs to be a little classier. So much more to get to. Stay with us.
JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah, so call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group and also the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Good time to do your Italiano Insurance checkup. If you have not done it at the end of the year, just give them a call over there, 813-877-7799, and they will, a human will answer the phone, give them some information, and they'll shop your homeowner's insurance, your auto insurance, all that good stuff, and hopefully save you tons and tons of money. 813-877-7799, Italiano Insurance. All right, if you guys want to comment more on the Bucs, we'll throw those up there as well, and then we're going to move on to some other stuff. Our good friend James wanted to say, everyone says how bad the Bucs are until they win, then everyone says they turn the corner. Next week, I don't know how they will win. Offensive scheme, open receivers, Brady missed them. He was horrible. He was bad. They did have some open guys yesterday, but it still wouldn't have mattered. The 49ers are just so much better, so much more physical. Yeah, you know what? Maybe it could have been a tighter game. You get Purdy maybe a little nervous, although he's super poised. I just don't see. They were just outclassed in every way yesterday.
I don't know what teams like they wouldn't be outclassed against at this moment.
And by the way, you know, we kind of bought into that after the Seattle game, so I'll cop to that. But after the Cleveland game, we said that's it. They're done. The coaching staff doesn't get it. They don't know how to manage a game. This is who they are. It's not getting any better, you know. And they come out and they win the Saints game, and we all saw what that was. It was 57 minutes of awful and 3 minutes of Brady being Brady. Nice to see it again, but it's a flawed team. It's a flawed team. It's a fractured team. I think they're just fraudulent and a fraudulent team. Absolutely. James says, get rid of the coaches. If BA doesn't like it, he can effing leave too. Wow. That's mean. That's mean. Yeah. I don't think BA is coming back to save this thing.
Are we going to have the Ring of Honor ceremony still? Are we still on?
We are.
Wouldn't the irony be, because I think they scheduled it for the Falcons game, which is the season or not the Falcons game, the Panthers game, I think.
No, the Panthers game was on the road. It was supposed to be
the Chiefs game, and they rescheduled it to one of these games. I'm still waiting for it.
No, it's this game. Or is it one? No, maybe one of the last ones.
I have no whatever. But what are we still doing that?
It's gonna be awkward. Yeah,
it's gonna be a little bit awkward. I think
we're gonna do it. I'm absolutely in for a rebuild, and we'll be patient with said rebuild, but it better see steady improvement. Scott Valdez. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be quick. It's not going to be a quick rebuild.
Let me tell you right now, I don't have much confidence for the Bucs to have a rebuild and do it successfully, because in my entire time as a fan, I've never seen them do it. Like, they got good not because they rebuilded. They got good because Tom Brady came here and brought all of his assassins with him. That was it.
Yeah.
They didn't rebuild anything. Like, I don't really trust them to rebuild anything.
I think Jason Light was starting to turn the corner, and they had a good. That's why Tom came here. This was a good team. It's a very good team, and now we saw it in the 2019 season. They were playing some really good football, and they were just turning it over and killing themselves.
Yes.
And you could see that they could, physically they could run the ball. They could the defense. They could stop the run, and when you can do both of those things, you got a shot. And they were just killing themselves in turnovers. And then Tom came here and it pulled it all together. So, I mean, in terms of that, you go out and get an experienced quarterback, and are you back in the mix? Well, in this division, you are. Who's good? Who's about to be good? I don't see anybody. Unless Desmond Ridder comes out and shows me he's, a great quarterback. The Falcons might be on the verge, but we'll see. But nobody's really good. So I think, you might be able to rebuild quicker than you think. You got it. I mean, you got to hit on some draft picks, and you got to hit, but they don't have any money for free agency.
It'd be nice if they could get a Wirfs and a Winfield every draft. That would help.
Yeah, sure. At this point, if they lose all their games, they may be in the top 10 the rest of the way.
Maybe
put Gabbard in, but they can. You can't tank a season. You can't tank a season when you can actually win the division. You can't do that. Obviously, let's be serious about it. All right, the Lightning get a big win on Saturday night, 4-1 over the stinking Panthers. The Panthers have rebuilt their entire team, right? They traded Jonathan Huberdeau. They bring in Matthew Tkachuk, who famously says, "Hey, there's a team in the state that's been playing really, really well. I'm here to change that." Well, you're 0-2 now, Matthew. Just want to scoreboard that one for you. And the Lightning played really well. I thought, the first 5 minutes were, as John Cooper called it, a train wreck Saturday night.
Yeah.
It was a train wreck, and Vassy bailed them out time and time again. But then they ended up getting 20 shots in the first period alone. They turned it around the final 15, tied at 1 going into the third. Second period was a bunch of penalties. Penalty kill was fantastic. It was 4-for-4. Power play 0-for-4, not as good. But then the third period, Braden Point on just a tremendous move and a tremendous goal scores to make it 2-1. His second game-winning goal. He's got 4 goals now in 3 games, so he's really getting hot. Sorelli's playing well. He's changed the tempo of the team when he comes in. Cooper just doing a great job, switching up the lines, getting guys going. Pat Maroon finally scored in the 27th game. I mean, he's been knocking on the door. So he finally scored. That was good to see. All 4 lines got points in the game. Sergachev gets another goal on a really, what might have been a nice little gamesmanship by Belmar, who was kind of laying on the stick of the goalie while Sergey shot it in. So, and they looked at it and they said, no goalie interference. I'm like, okay, that made it 3-1. Then Stammer gets a goal, now 496. So he's 4 away from 500, and he's playing really, really well.
He's on
13,
like the quietest 13-game point streak I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
4th longest in the league right now.
Yeah. And he's had 2 of them of over 12. And I think he's only 3 active players that have done that. Yep. So he's playing really, really good hockey. And the team you see this team gelling, right?
Yeah.
The D pairs now are coming together. Perbix and Hedman are playing together. And so the D pairs are coming together. They're finding that. And Hedman still is playing his C game.
Yeah.
So, but that will change. But, and Sorelli, as my partner on the last call, a post-game show, Brian Engblom likes to say, he's a tempo changer, and he can do anything. And Cooper can kind of use him as the Swiss Army knife to match up against anybody. And so we're really starting this. And Nick Paul and Brandon Hagel, the acquisitions of last year, are just, I mean, Paul now has 12 goals, which matches his career high. We're 25% into the season. Hagel's got 8. I mean, both of these guys, and I love the way Hagel plays with Kucherov and Pointer, and they just this team is really starting to gel.
Yeah,
I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I like where their game is at right now. They've won 4 out of 5. They're playing some good teams here, and they're getting victories. And no different tomorrow night. They got a really good Seattle team.
Yeah, how about
a Seattle team that's probably the most improved team by far this year.
Second place.
Yeah, that's coming into town, so that's going to be a good one.
And they've played better on the road than they played at home.
Yeah. So that's going to be good. And also, too, with the Lightning, just mentioning guys who are starting to look like themselves is Andre Vasilevsky. It was like 2 weeks ago. We were talking about it, and his goals against was over 3. His save percentage was under 900, and now he's at 266 and 911.
Yeah, his last 5 games, he's at 202, and I think up in the 920s, 930s.
Yeah, but in general, though, I thought the play in front of him has been a bit better too, which has helped. I mean, they only allowed 25 shots to Florida, and I think when you do that, you're going to win on most nights. I think, given the firepower that the Lightning have, because I don't think. I mean, power play has been a bit, inconsistent at times, but for the most part, I trust the Lightning's offense. It's just really been the back end that's been killing them, and this was a game, probably one of the few games this year where they won the giveaway battle. They won the takeaway battle. They won the shots on goal. Faceoffs were nearly even. I mean, that's kind of what we've been looking for the Lightning. I thought it was one of their better outings of the season.
Yeah, I agree. And so we got Seattle coming in. So this happened. So it was Kids Day. We have the kids help us out.
I saw that.
Yeah, and Wyatt Ross has been doing this with me for I think 3 or 4 years now. And the kid is he's fearless. He's really good. He's really, really good. And he is he's not intimidated by the camera whatsoever. So he tells me earlier in the day he had his rec league game or his under 14 game that he plays on his team. He scores the game-winning goal with 2 minutes left, and he roofed it. He showed me the play. His dad showed me the play. So the kid makes his great goal. Then he gets to come to the Lightning and do the starting lineups, and also work with me up there. And we were just having a good old time. The prompter got messed up, and we still ad-libbed the whole thing. I'm like, dude, you are a pro. I said, he's like, what do we do? I'm like, just talk to me. Just talk to me. I'll walk you through it. So we did that. And then so we had a cutaway of Santa Claus in the second period intermission highlights. So I said, all right, here's what we're going to do. When Santa Claus thing comes up, I'm going to say, hey, what do you want for Christmas? And what do you want Santa to bring you? And then you pick out your favorite player and tell him to score the game-winning goal. He goes, okay. So I said, all right, what do you want for Christmas? He goes, how about a Braden Point game-winning goal?
Ooh.
So 3 minutes into the third period, who scores the game-winning goal? Braden Point. That kid had a hell of a day. That was a hell of a day for my man Wyatt, and he called the game winner. And there was a lot of people were tweeting about it too. They're like, he called the game winner. I'm like, he sure did.
Keep him on staff.
I think we definitely need to hire that kid when he gets old enough to be hired. Really fun, and we had all the kids doing the different jobs, and the Lightning do such a great job with all of their theme days. And they had, I don't know if you saw this, but they had a second grade class, Booker Elementary, I think it was. They had them draw pictures of all the players.
Oh, yeah, they had it on the big screen, right?
Yeah, and so when they did the starting lineups, instead of using their pictures, they used the second grade pictures. And these pictures were hilarious.
The stick figure city.
They were so funny and so good. And that was a big part of it. And, another great themed, every time you go to a Lightning game, 300 consecutive sellout, by the way.
Yeah.
300 consecutive sellouts. So if you pay attention to your fan base and put them first, have a nicely located stadium and a nice stadium, it's amazing what these Tampa Bay fans will do.
I knew somewhere along the way you were going there.
Yeah. So, yeah. Speaking of which, as we transition to the Rays, I know a lot of people are going bonkers about this. The artist renderings are out on the new Rays Stadium in St. Petersburg and think that, this equals the deal is done. The deal is far from done, folks. This still has to be financed. The mayor still has to pick the best development, the best developer to do the Trop site downtown. And if they do build it down there, I'm telling you, this is another Stu Sternberg scheme, and he's gonna get the best deal and then sell the team, and we're gonna be left with a team that's poorly located again. And I hope people are smarter than that to not let this thing happen. So I'm not gonna go on a rant today, But I know I saw a lot of it this weekend. People were asking me about it, like, oh, is this a done deal now? No, it's not a done deal. We have no idea who's paying for it, what the price tag is going to be. None of that stuff is on the table yet. So, and that's the hard stuff, right? That's the hard stuff. And if the new mayor wants to spend $1 billion on a baseball stadium and have the Rays pay a pittance of it, I'm not sure if that's a great expenditure of public money, and certainly not what's best for the entire region. And you had some quotes from Peter Bendix as well that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, let me get my Peter Bendix quotes here, because I'm more focused on what's going on the field, what they're doing off the field in the front office from the standpoint of free agency, and really the answer right now is nothing. Shocker.
Shocking
development.
You mean they're not going to spend big money? They're not going to go out and get the big boppers?
No, and this was a quote here from Peter Bendix, courtesy of Mark Topkin. We're happy with kind of what we've been able to accomplish over the course of the winter so far, but it's still early and there's no deadline, right? There's still things that we are hoping to accomplish. And interesting enough, the photo choice here is a picture of Michael Brantley. Who was a name that we dropped last week as a possible candidate.
Right. So, as the market shifts around, right, and the big money players come off of it, what's going to be left? What was, and we'll get the guys that are, third tier free agents. But bottom line is they can help this team. I mean, this team was so poor offensively that if they get the right guys and construct a lineup where, we can get some protection for Wander Franco and some of these other guys, Rosarena, make the lineup like thicker.
I'm just begging, and this is no personal shot at him. I don't want to see one Luke Raley at bat next year. I don't want to see him in the 4-hole. I don't want to see him in the 9-hole. I don't want to see it. And I think right now there's a scenario, if the Rays kept things as they are right now, he would be in like your dominant left-handed lineup right now. I just can't do that. I can't do that. And you expect me to actually buy into this team being a contender.
No,
I can't.
No. And they, it's because they've made it to the postseason that they can do a lot of these things, right?
Yeah.
And, last year was a fraud. The only reason they made the postseason was because they added an extra team, and you couldn't even score 2 runs in 24 innings.
I hope you're doing something. I hope there are other things you want to accomplish, because right now your lineup looks exactly the same to the one that scored 1 run in
24 innings.
24 innings of play in the playoffs. That's the lineup you have right now.
And scored about 6 runs down the stretch.
Yeah, just about
terrible down the stretch.
They were terrible down. They were unwatchable. They made the team unwatchable. That's your offense right now. Other notable news there. Bye Kevin Kiermaier
to the Jays.
To the Jays, which means we're going to see plenty of him here at the Trop still.
He did that on purpose. He did that on purpose. Yeah, he wanted to stay in the division. It's because he could, play a lot of home games here where his home is. I mean, I think that's part of it. But also, the teams in this division know his worth.
Oh,
They know what he can do. And I still think he's a positive player, and he can help you win. He'll help that team win tremendously.
He seems like something they need. Yeah. Like, they got a lot of big boppers in their lineup, and they continue to underachieve.
It's a really good pick.
He's got some. He's a veteran. We already know the defense he's going to give you, which has been a problem in Toronto in their outfield, and a lot of speed as well, heart and hustle. Every day I'm hustling. We all know what Kevin Kiermaier will bring there.
What is this? Lonnie Wilkins puts up
what?
Jose Siri tried to body slam an umpire last night. Most fight this team has shown in months.
I did actually see that come across my timeline somewhere this morning. I didn't read into it already, but there was something. Yeah, here it is. He was this is from Mark Topkin. Siri was quite upset and had to be restrained by teammates after being ejected from Dominican Winter League game over a strike call. And there's a video of it here too.
Really?
Yeah. Look at that. He's being held back by the entire team. Ooh.
Good God, dude.
It's just the Dominican Winter League.
Yeah.
I promise it'll be okay, but you know what? I like to see some fight.
They got way more fans than the Trop.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Bet the ticket prices are lower too.
Oh my goodness. It's going on and on. This is like a 2-minute video of him being held back by teammates.
Holy crap, dude. Take it. Chill pill, dude. Wow. Okay. Must have been an egregious. Maybe there's a little bit more behind that.
Seriously.
Maybe a little bit more behind. But we got, now we got Jose Siri's fighting. We already got Yandy and Rosarena going after it.
We got an identity.
We're the scrappers. But you can't beat up your teammate, though. That's not a good idea.
Can they bottle some of that energy and sell it to the Bucs?
I hope so.
That'd be great.
I hope so. Yeah. All right, let's take one more break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the other games in the NFL, college football notes, Mike Leach, and also my partner here is going to give us a World Cup update. Very much interested. I've been enjoying these games. I'm watching a lot of them. The England-France game was really, really good. That was fun to watch. So we'll do that when we come back. Stay with us.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or italianoinsurance.com.
Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax return, they'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saving thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call. 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others. 888-325-0605.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show on this Loser Monday. But we're done talking about the Bucs. If you missed that beatdown, you can check it out on our app. Always download the app if you haven't done that yet. FanStream Sports, all one word. Just tap that app and you can listen to the show anytime, anywhere. Bluetooth that sucker in your car. You can go morning, you can go midday, you can go afternoon drive on your way home, whatever you want to do. It's always there for you to listen on demand. You can rewind, fast forward, do whatever you want. So check that out. That's our app, and you can always listen to us on or watch us on YouTube and on Facebook. On Twitter is always a great way to do it as well. So you really appreciate all you guys listening. Our numbers have been going up, and we hope for big things coming up in the new year. Some really big things. So stay tuned for that. All right. Bad news for Mike Leach. Well, I guess it's good news. He is stabilized now.
No. I mean, they said he's still in critical condition.
Oh, he's still in critical condition. Okay. He had a massive heart attack. And Mississippi State's had a good year. They're coming to the ReliQuest Bowl. I think everybody was looking forward to seeing him and him being a big part of the bowl week. Such a great big personality, awesome guy. Not in the best of shape, unfortunately, and he had a massive heart attack. Any news as to he's in critical condition? So
yeah,
just hope for the best.
Yeah, you just kind of have to hope the best. Send all your prayers and your thoughts over to Mike Leach and his family. Mississippi State said that's the only update they're going to provide right now.
Yeah.
So just hoping for the best outcome there, because I mean, one of the more beloved figures in college football.
Oh my God, yes, yeah. One of kind of a throwback, just a real fun guy, and really, great coach too. He's really, he's never had, the premier program to run. He's always been at the Mississippi States and those type of schools, and done a great job, and just really, really good football coach. Wasn't he? He was a candidate. Was it for the USF job or the Bucs job? I think he was almost.
I feel like it was the Bucs. Was it not?
It was a serious candidate, and was almost hired here.
Yeah,
would have loved that.
Yep,
would have loved that. He, We always have to talk to Bucs. Would you hire a college coach for the rebuild?
A college coach for the rebuild?
Buccaneers? I'm not a big college coach guy.
If his name is Jim Harbaugh.
Oh man.
If Jim Harbaugh went,
media sessions.
I'm just hypothetically speaking. Let's say he wins a national championship at Michigan this year. He's done everything he needs to do.
I mean, he really was seriously interested in the Vikings, but now after that he said, "Nah, I'm not going to the pros. I'm not going to, I'm going to stay at Michigan." But you never know.
I don't put it past him. I think he still has unfinished business in the NFL, and he knows it.
I think he's batshit crazy.
I don't care. That's fine with me. He's a damn good coach.
He's a really good football coach. And he coaches the run game and physicality. And, had a great run with the 49ers. He can coach in the NFL. Ain't no doubt about that. You could pick worse. I
don't think there's many better you can get, to be honest with you. I'd rather take my chances with Jim Harbaugh than some coordinator.
Yeah, for sure.
Even I'm thinking right now, I love DeMeco Ryans, the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, and it seems like he's at the top of everybody's wish list. But even then,
some energy, huh?
Yes, but even then, I'm still weary of it's 2020. We're about to be in 2023. Defensive head coaches, I just don't know.
Robert Saleh is doing a great job in New York, and I've always thought that he was going to be a great head coach.
Yeah, but
Rich Bisaccia. Everybody loves him.
Yeah, but I'm not big on Brandon Staley in Los Angeles. I think he's holding that team back.
Yeah, I do too.
Who knows what Eberflus is going to do in Chicago? Lovie Smith has no business being a head coach in the league anymore. That's a joke. A lot of these defensive head coaches, I'm just not seeing a lot of success there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just think this team needs an offensive guru, somebody that either has credentials like a Jim Harbaugh or somebody that's young. I.e. a Mike McDaniel or like a Kyle Shanahan was 5 years ago, and can get a quarterback in here that they can develop. I think that's what you need.
Well, with a college coach, and I think of the rebuild, right? He has a really good grip on coaching on the talent that's coming out. But I just think college teams just have not college. Find me a good college coach that's worked in the NFL. It's been a while.
Urban Meyer didn't work.
No,
Matt Rule did not work.
Disaster. It's just been a disaster, one right after another. It's tough. It's tough. And and as we went through the Bucs talent roster, it's not going to be a complete rebuild, and you have a division that doesn't have any teams that are on the come. So you can, I think I would rather have an NFL coach who knows what the hell he's doing. You could bring him in here.
I mean, the biggest name that's available is Sean Payton. That's the biggest name of all names.
Yeah,
but even I can't.
Give up.
I just can't see it.
A ton of draft capital. Yeah, you can't do that in a rebuild.
I can't see it.
Can't do it.
Hey, maybe Sean McVay retires from the Rams.
No, that's not happening. That's not happening. Yeah, we can talk about that later. All right, give us a World Cup update. What's going on? I watched England and France. Some of that. That was fantastic. Fantastic football game.
Yeah, the drama in these games. I mean, this is starting to shape up into an all-timer. Was watching Brazil and Croatia. Brazil, I thought, was the favorite of the tournament, and they had a 1-0 lead in the 113th minute. Croatia equalizes and then goes into penalties and beats them there. Croatia, one of the smaller countries in this World Cup, they went to the World Cup final in 2018. I mean, just battle tested in this tournament, and they just don't die, and they get through. And then the team that I told you to watch out for, Morocco.
You did.
Little Morocco goes up
that.
against another big team in Portugal and just totally stifles them. Morocco has given up 1 goal in this World Cup. That's it. And I love the passion, their fans show, just everybody's crying and just, you can tell how much it means to them. And now they're in the World Cup semifinals with a chance to get to the final. I mean, I'm rooting for Morocco. If you don't have an allegiance to any team here, I think Morocco is a cool one to latch onto.
Would FIFA allow a Morocco-Croatia final?
No. What's honestly probably going to happen is you're going to get Argentina and France because the storyline writes itself. Lionel Messi in his final World Cup going for trying to win it for the first time versus France and Kylian Mbappe, who is, the best young player in the world. The storyline writes itself.
He's so good.
The storyline writes itself. And so I mean, if you're just picking the favorites, I mean, Argentina and France looks like your World Cup final, in my opinion, right now.
Okay, that's a good one.
It's not. I mean, you could ask for worse.
That's a good one. That's a damn good one. You got arguably the two best players in the world.
Yeah, Messi's such a different. You watch the game against the Netherlands. I mean, that wasn't even one of his better games, but he's just everywhere.
Every time
the pass that
the
pass that he made on the first goal, guys. I mean, even if you don't understand soccer, that is just there's nobody else that's doing that. It's unreal, and he's 35 years old. He's 35 years old. This generation of athlete from that's born in 1980 to 1990. They're all unicorns.
Yeah.
Like Brady's still 45 years old doing it. LeBron's 39.
Yeah.
Every night in and night out doing it. I mean, Messi. I mean,
Federer went on. Forever.
Federer went on. Nadal's
still
doing it. Like that generation of athlete is just insane.
Yeah. Nobody can topple him. Serena, throw her in there as well.
Yeah.
Tiger.
Yeah, and Croatia's best player, Luka Modric, is 37 years old. Won the Ballon d'Or 4 years ago. He's a world-class player still at his age, and he's the engine of Croatia's team. And we'll see him here against Argentina. But yeah, it's been a great World Cup. I think it's been an all-timer so far.
Speaking of Tiger, he was in town over at the Pelican for the match this weekend.
I forgot about that until it came on the other night.
I taped it. I got to go watch it. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard some friends that were there, and said Tiger played like poo. But
yeah, not
fun.
great. He looked like he was laboring a lot with his leg too,
Yeah.
a lot more than he did during the summer.
Yeah, and he's got the father-son coming up too.
Yep.
So, which they finished second to the dailies last time.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll definitely be watching that for sure. I mentioned the Heisman Trophy goes to Caleb Williams this weekend. And what a year he had. Tremendous player, really, really good. I don't like the whole transfer portal, Lincoln Riley going to the big city. If this is the future of college football,
he's a mercenary.
I don't like it. I don't like it. And there were some tweets out there that another thing I didn't like. So he tweeted there was a picture of Max Duggan crying after the Big 12 game. And if you watch that game, what a heroic effort by Max Duggan. I thought he won the Heisman Trophy, but 90% of these people that vote, turn their vote in 3 weeks early. So most of the people that probably saw that didn't factor into the Heisman. I thought Max had a tremendous year. And instead of complimenting Max on that effort, he said LOL to him crying in the post-game news conference. Caleb Williams did. And also there was a picture of him before the SEC or the Pac-12 championship game holding a football, and on his fingernails it spelled out FUCKUTAH. Oh, fuck Utah. Yeah. I mean, classy. The answer. Heisman Trophy winner there, ladies and gentlemen. What else we needed to get to today? Just a couple other notes on the NFL yesterday. What an incredible day of football yesterday. The Cowboys. Did you see the Cowboys-Texans game, the finish of that game?
I did, yeah.
Oh, my God.
The Texans had to stay true to the tank.
They did. They were like, yeah, you know what? We could beat you guys, but we're just going to go ahead and let you win. We got to get that draft pick. But we just wanted to let you know that if we really want to play hard and win, we got look at that team. Look how they stood up and played.
Yeah, without
compare and contrast.
Yeah, without Brandon Cooks and Nico, without their best skill players weren't even playing. They went back to Davis Mills and they still were able to put up 23 points.
Yeah,
against the top 5 defense in the league in Dallas, who I don't think a lot of people are saying they're like a pretender. I think the exact opposite. I really do.
You like the Cowboys?
I like the Cowboys, but I will say I'm interested now that Terrence Steele, their standout tackle, just tore his ACL. So now Jason Peters, which is 40, is back in there.
Jump back in.
He's got to jump back in.
They're getting Tyron Smith back.
Yeah, they are going to get him back, so that's going to help.
So that'll help them. How about the Lions beating the Vikings to move to 6-7, 34-23 at home? The Lions have been tremendous at home, and they were favored in this game. And they went out and took it to the Vikings.
I love the Lions, how they play.
Yeah.
I love how they Dan
Look
Campbell.
At Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, to me, the Lions are going to have a top pick because of the Rams trade. Do you take a quarterback or do you just keep adding talent to that roster?
I keep adding talent. Why would you take a quarterback?
I wouldn't, because they look like a team that's almost on the cusp of to something, and I think you take a step back if you take a rookie quarterback.
I do too. I mean, you look at these are legit teams that they're scoring 40 points.
Yeah, and they got some guys on that offense to throw to.
Yeah,
Amon-Ra St. Brown every game. DJ Chark, Jamison Williams played and had a 41-yard touchdown. I mean, they have guys on that team. I mean, Hutchinson's been really good in his rookie season quietly. I mean, they got some guys.
The Eagles pounded the Giants 48-22. I'm telling you, the Eagles are – I don't see how you beat them. I mean, they are a tremendous – I guess you can run the football on them a little bit.
Not as well anymore because of Sue and Linval, though.
Yeah. They're just bad. They beat you up.
They just don't have a weakness. And Jalen Hurts
are so physical.
Jalen Hurts won the MVP yesterday.
They did.
Because Mahomes threw 3 picks. Allen doesn't have the numbers. Tua took himself out of the running.
Yep.
It's Jalen Hurts' MVP.
It's Jalen Hurts. Yeah, he's a winner. We had Sal Powell on earlier, and I think that was the question mark on him. And remember, the Bucs beat them last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And and the kid's he has improved so dramatically in his passing. And he's such a good runner. I mean, and you watch that team offensively, and then you watch the Bucs, and you're just like, man,
the contrast.
Man, this is we love Brady. We love Brady, but you can't have that quarterback. Yeah. The day of the drop back quarterback who can't run is over in the NFL. It's over. He's the last one. He's the dinosaur. There's nobody left. Who's left?
I mean, we were just praising Jared Goff. I mean, he's similar. A little bit more mobility, but
I mean, statuesque.
He is the literally only statue. But Jalen Hurts too. I even said at the beginning of the year, if you recall, I've had more confidence in giving him $50 million than I did Kyler Murray, and I stand by it.
Yes.
I've been proven right by that.
How can you not pay him?
He's a grown up. He's a grown up.
He's
mature, and he's damn good at what he does.
The Ravens beat the Steelers 16-14, and they're
ugly game.
Yeah, they're 9-4. The Ravens are. And they did that with Tyler Huntley.
Anthony Brown had to come in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But the Steelers also had to deal with Mitch Trubisky because Pickett got hurt on the second series.
How about the Jaguars? Watch out. Trevor Lawrence is starting to play.
Yes.
They're 5-8. They're not going to – the Titans have lost 4 in a row now, right?
Yeah, fired their GM.
Yeah.
They are backpedaling fast.
They're 7-6 now.
Yeah.
And they play Jacksonville in the final game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about a team with some talent. Jacksonville's got some dudes.
They have a real coach.
Yeah, and they have a real coach. Coaching matters in the NFL, by the way.
The Super Bowl winning head coach, not the I don't know what you call Urban Meyer, but
fraud. That's what you call him. Complete fraud. The Chiefs. Did you see? By the way, fantasy owner, I swear to God, I put Jerick McKinnon in the lineup because I have Matt Breida sitting there in case Barkley didn't play, and I swear I switched it to Jerick McKinnon. And then when I looked at my sheet, he was still on my starting.
You have the audacity to call me out for my decision-making in fantasy.
I didn't. I swear
but
to you.
You started Matt Breida.
It was a mistake.
I didn't even know Matt Breida played.
I'm copying to it because I have nobody at running back. I had nobody but Fournette and Rashad White, which I didn't think they were going to get any points at all against the 49ers, so I didn't want to play either one of them.
Breida.
Yeah.
They almost gave that game away, though.
I'm still going to win.
If Russ didn't get hurt,
I left 32 points on them.
If Russ didn't get hurt, the Broncos, I think, were going to win that game.
Yeah, how about that?
They had momentum until Russ got hurt, and they had to go out with Ripien.
And that one pass from Mahomes come on, that's just ridiculous.
Schoolyard.
Yeah. The Panthers beat the Seahawks, and the Panthers may win this division.
Samwell.
If I got to pick a team right now, I think I'm picking Atlanta. If Desmond Ridder plays well,
I'm not picking Atlanta.
I ain't picking the Bucs. I don't think they'll win another game.
The Panthers right now, the Panthers are playing hard for Steve Wilkes.
They're playing hard. They play hard.
And then they're on quarterback number 4 right now.
Mm-hmm. And then the Chargers last night beating the Dolphins 23-7. That Dolphin offense was just awful and has been since it went to the West Coast.
They're so one-dimensional. Yeah, I mean, in the passing game, you take away. I mean, I know it's easier said than done. Take away Hill and Waddle, but the Chargers did that. They don't throw to anybody else. Like Mike Gesicki had 800 yards last year, and he's got 4 targets in his last 3 games.
I don't get that. I don't get that at all. Mike McDaniel's going to have to be better. All right, this last comment I have to put up here, if it's going to show, just because Joe F says, imagine the Bucs with the Lions coach. People want to play for him. Compare and contrast.
Energy.
Todd Bowles. Compare and contrast. I wouldn't mind stealing him away for the rebuild.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it.
He's rebuilt the Lions pretty well.
The Lions are relevant.
They are. And who would you pick if the Bucs were playing up there? Lions will be favored by 4.
I've seen the Lions like yesterday, and they've done it a handful of times. They can score 30 plus when they want to.
Oh, yeah. They can score. All right, that'll do it for us today. We want to thank all of our sponsors again today. Jeeves Law Group, Italiano Insurance, AMS Tampa, American Mortgage Services, Scott Fitzgerald, Scott at amstampa.com. Some rates are coming down, so if you are back in the market, he's the best in the business. Give him a call. And all our other great sponsors, Emerging Investigations and BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Chris Lugo and his team over there. If you're looking for some testosterone replacement therapy, get your nutrition right, your immune system at this time of year is a big deal. So take advantage of his tremendous knowledge and forward-thinking practices, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. All right, we'll be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. See you then.